filming it in case it starts.
Yes.
Second pull with carb spray. Just got home from work, and I just shot carb spray in it, and you heard it. It tried to fire on like pull number 1 and 2. So
Pull number 3 and 4.
I need to hook up the gas tank and put gas in it and give it a try. So
We do.
it's missing the air box. I have the box, but it's missing the air filter frame where the element goes over. I'm just thinking I could probably make one. I threw the carb together and did this, so that's good. It's a good sign that it tried to fire. Alright, so the tank was missing this 10mm bolt to hold the tank to the frame, and I stripped the Toyota truck a long time ago and I kept all the bolts from it, these metric bolts, and wouldn't you know it, one of those suckers fits this thing perfect. So it's a little old and rusty, but man, I'm excited. Sun's going down. We're just gonna try to put some gas in this sucker. And all right, so I got the tank on, and I realized that in reserve, when it puts this on reserve, it leaks. So I'm gonna need a new fuel switch there.
It's a little squeaky, but it works.
Wow. Okay.
We just need to get the seat on.
This is too cool. So, need to get the air filter. Need to get a new fuel petcock, fuel switch, because it leaks on reserve.
And we also need to deal with the smell.
Well, yeah. But,
I was chasing after you.
yeah, hey, she wants to run, even with no air filter, so it's running really, really lean.
It runs without the carburetor.
Well, the carburetor's on there.
I
and I just kind of guessed on the fuel screw. I went 2.5 turns out, and wow. So okay.
So we're kind of freaked out.
Okay, how cool was that? You just saw the video of when literally I videoed the first pull with carb spray, and then we put the tank on. We learned that the fuel petcock leaks in the reserve position, so put more gas in, put it on the on position, and then I rode it around here, you know, for a few minutes, even though it ran kind of garbagey without the airbox. So how cool is that? You know, it's like an episode of Roadkill. Those guys, they find these junkyard cars and they fire them up after tinkering with them. So really stoked on that. So we're gonna move on to what we're gonna do next. Everybody, it's Saturday the 2nd of June, and I'm just back working on the ATC we got last weekend, and some parts came that I'd ordered. They'd come really quickly, like this air filter screen here, and then this new air filter that we're missing from the bag of goodies. And I was just going to clean up the airbox and start putting it back together, and I noticed this piece of tape was across here, so I thought maybe there was a hole here or something. So then I pulled the tape off, and it's a registration receipt for June of 91. Yeah, this one was valid till 91, but it's got the owner's name and everything on it, which, again, if you remember in the first video last week when we picked it up, the people that purchased the house with this just left in the garage, they had no clue whose it was. So this is going to help me track this guy down, find out what the deal is with paperwork. There's no lien holder on it, so that's good in terms of like a loan out on it or anything like that, a finance company. So, but it's got the guy's name and address, and you know, with today's internet, I should be able to track him down. So that's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to put together this airbox, put together the air filter. I'm going to go clean this. I just got back from the dirt bike store down the street with some filter oil, and I'm going to put it all back together. Then I'm going to do an oil change on it, and then I'm going to see if I can ride it around a little bit. It's hot outside. That's what all this noise is. I have the house swamp cooler coming out at me. I've got my own swamp cooler. I got the door cracked on the bottom of the garage, and it's sucking all the hot air out. Well, the hot air that's down low. Anyway, but right about where I'm at, it's 80. And normally in this garage, it's at least 100 right now, with it being about 95 outside. So my little system's working. Anyway, enough talking. We're going to get to work on this little sucker here. See if we can get her back together and fulfill one more step in our off-road dream, me and my kids. Another thing I had found rummaging through all the junk was this new boot here, and as you can see in this video, the old one had a couple tears in it. So I'm thinking those tears probably made the thing run like garbage to begin with, and then he got the jet clogged and it quit running. So he was thinking big picture, you know, there's something major wrong, and he tore it all apart and ordered all these jets, and really all he needed was a boot and clean the jet. So let's see how it goes today. Clean, and the gasket in here is a little cracked, but I'm going to make sure I run a big bead of grease right there and then slam that air filter in there so it seals. Do the rest the way it's supposed to be done. The airbox is soaking underneath this cast iron pan in hot soapy water because all of the years of dust and dirt and oil that kind of permeated that plastic, I wanted to work on that for a little while, and then I'll come back and scrub it up. I just want to get as best as I can. The box is in great shape, so sorry honey, I'm using your sink here. So while I'm waiting for the airbox to soak and the air filter to dry out in the sun, I love doing this stuff. Here's an old, 82, right? We got some wear here, gonna look into that, but one of the things I do is, you know, the years and years of grit and grime that form in all the little crevices, I take a toothbrush and I take, you know, Windex has always worked really good for me because it's a degreaser, number one, and it's easy to wipe off, you know, once you get everything all clean in there. It doesn't leave a lot of residue, it's kind of harmless. So I'm going to do this to the whole bike here and try to get it to just have, you know, get as clean as I can get it without repainting it or anything. You don't want to use carb cleaner here on painted surfaces because it turns them kind of white. So anyway, see how that's coming out nice and clean in here? That's an old bolt I had in my toolbox because it was missing that bolt, but where dirt was all in these little welds and stuff, it's coming out, you know. So I'm going to work my way down the subframe and then do this and the chain guard, and I already did the pipe in there, which looks pretty good. Anyway, so while we're waiting for stuff to clean itself in the sink, we'll work on this. Alright, so I found out I was actually missing another piece to this equation. It's a bracket back here, and then there's a long stud type of bolt that goes to the back of the air filter inside. I did find it on eBay, so I ordered that, but for now, just to test this thing, I rigged up this killer little zip tie mount here. It's pretty solid, so I'm gonna dump the oil, put some new oil in it, and then fire it up and see what happens here. Yeah, I went ahead and threw some grips on here, some new grips. The other dude had some dirt bike grips on here, two-wheeler grips, which don't work because, as I'm sure all of you know, that the throttle side has a wider diameter because of the throttle tube. ATV grips just go same diameter, left side, right side. So he had wrapped a bunch of electrical tape around the handlebar and tried to slide on the wider diameter throttle grip for a dirt bike, and then he cut off the little nub here that would interfere with this. So these are on sale for like 12 bucks. When I went and got the air filter oil, I got these grips, stuck those on there. So see how this works. Alright, so I've decided to try to just fire it up and warm up the oil a little bit before I dump it. So plus I'm really excited. Don't worry, I'm not going to eat that green guacamole or the black guacamole. So in the on position, it works? Yeah, that's right. And then a little choke action. See what happens. Make sure this is on. Ah, how about neutral? Might help. Okay, no choke. Maybe not getting fuel, maybe. Ah, took the vacuum off the tank there. Might have to adjust the idle. Oh, it idles. Huh. Kinda. Idle screw right there. I might just have to ride it before I do the oil. So let's try that. Alright, we're gonna give this thing a try. I don't particularly like loud dirt bikes myself. crank the idle up a little bit. I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with this thing. You know, threw it together, put the new jets in it, and put some new gas in it. Cleaned the carburetor up a little bit, and you guys just went for the first ride, and it seems to do really well. I'm gonna get the new fuel switch here so it doesn't leak when you put it in reserve. And then when I get the new carb piece, let's see if my piece held together here. See my little zip tie piece held together. Oh yeah, I could go for a little putt-putt with my boy. Like that. Alright, well, looks like I got myself a little toy to putt around with my kid on the 50. It's about 5:30 on Saturday. I'm going to wrap it and just park this thing. And when I get the Airbox piece, I'll go back through it again. I'm going to detail out all this stuff. I'll take a Brillo pad to all this rust. I'm also going to cut the bars down probably about 2 or 3 inches. They're just super wide. I think they're the stock bars, which is actually kind of a cool thing, but my arms just feel really wide. I'm used to a different width there. So what I'll do next is dump that oil out of there, get new oil in there, get that ready. These tires have major cracks in them that are leaking, so I got to get a couple tires for the back. The front is fine, and I found them pretty cheap online. So, pretty stoked, guys. Excited, and looks like we're gonna have some fun. So, stay tuned for more camping stuff. There's the fenders sitting right over there. We're gonna put those on. We're gonna do the lights. We're gonna paint the bottom and get this sucker finished. And we're gonna do some camping and riding, me and my kid. And we'll just keep this little vlog going, a little video series with our camping and riding adventures. And we have more plans in the future, actually, to get a bigger trailer for the entire family and relive what was some of our most awesome times as a family with our 2 older kids who are now married and gone. So kind of a cool thing for me to think we get to do this again with 2 more younger kids. So thanks for watching, you guys. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and see you next time.